Hey, second graders, Miss Monist here with our read aloud for today. We started our first chapter book, so I'm excited because it's one of my favorite series, the Horrible Harry series. And this one is called Horrible Harry and the Ant Invasion. So each day I'll read just a few pages from a chapter, like maybe half a chapter a day. Chapter 1, Horrible Harry and the Ant Invasion. There are a few pictures in there. There's the little ants that come in the tube. If you've ever had an ant farm, you might have gotten ants that come in a tube like that. When Harry and I walked into room 2B, we couldn't believe our eyes. "Look at that," I said. "Wow, what is it, Doug?" Harry asked me. "It's an ant city." "Ants," Harry grinned. Then he rubbed his hands together. Harry loves anything that crawls, slithers, or slides. He loves slimy things, hairy things, and creepy things. Harry loves anything horrible. "The ants haven't arrived yet," Miss Mackle said, "but they should come any day now in the mail." "The mail?" Sydney made a face. "Ew. There's going to be ants in Miss Mackle's mailbox?" Harry flashed his white teeth. "Neato," he said. "Are we going to have an ant monitor?" Miss Mackle looked at the list of jobs on the monitor chart. "We are going to need one. Would you be interested, Harry?" Harry smiled so wide that his silver filling showed in the back of his mouth. Miss Mackle printed Harry's name next to Ant Monitor. And there's their class chart with all their jobs. Harry's looking very proud there to be the Ant Monitor. 1 week later, when the class lined up in the hall by the office, Miss Mackle checked her mailbox. She found a small manila envelope in it. When she opened it up, she pulled out a plastic vial. There were a lot of black, hairy things moving around in it. "The ants!" the class shouted. The school secretary, Mrs. Foxworth, poked her head around the corner. "Ants?" she replied. "We're going to observe their behaviors," Miss Mackle said. Mrs. Foxworth tried to smile, but she was shaking so much that the pencil that was sitting on her ear dropped to the floor. Harry picked it up and handed it to her. "Are you afraid of ants?" Mrs. Foxworth ran back to her typewriter. Harry grinned. "She's afraid of ants." "Well," Miss Mackle said, "the directions on this small package say to put the vial in a refrigerator for 10 minutes so that the ants will go to sleep. It's easier to put sleeping ants in the ant city." And there's their teacher, Miss Mackle, opening up her mail. Harry stepped forward. "I'm the ant monitor. I'll take it to the teacher's refrigerator for you." Miss Mackle raised her eyebrows. "Can I pick an assistant?" Harry asked. Miss Mackle nodded as she looked at the waving hands. "I pick Doug." I beamed. Miss Mackle looked relieved. We walked down the hall to the teacher's room with the vial of ants. When we opened the refrigerator, we looked for a place to set the vial. "Gee," I said, "there's so much diet soda in here, it's hard to find room." Harry finally set the vial on top of a container of banana yogurt. Then we walked back down to the hall. Mrs. Foxworth was coming toward us. "Hello, boys," she said in a cheery voice. "Taking your morning break?" Harry asked. Miss Foxworth nodded. "Thought I would have a little banana yogurt." Harry and I stopped. We looked at each other. Mrs. Foxworth closed the teacher's room door. Then we heard it, a shrill scream. Harry and I walked back to room 2B laughing. 10 minutes later, Miss Mackle brought the vial of ants back to the classroom. Everyone gathered around the science table. "I think I should do this, boys and girls," Miss Mackle said. "Some ants bite. I don't want any of you to touch one. Is that clear?" Everyone nodded their heads. Miss Mackle took the roof off of an anthouse. Then she took the cap off the vial. We all watched her pour the ants into the small opening. "Their bodies look like raisins," Ida said. "That's the way they sleep, Ida, all rolled up," Miss Mackle replied. "Ew," Sydney groaned. "They're gross." The teacher looked at Sydney. "We are scientists. We are observing ant behavior. Someday someone in room 2B may be a great scientist and make great discoveries in a lab." Harry and I pointed at each other. We were planning to be great scientists someday. Just as Miss Mackle finished pouring the sleeping ants into the hole, the ants at the bottom of the vial started to wake up. "Goodness!" Miss Mackle exclaimed. Sydney screamed when 3 ants crawled out of the vial onto the science table. Miss Mackle stood up. "No one move or touch anything. I will get the ants." "One is on the floor," Mary called. Miss Mackle crawled after it. She put a pencil in front of the runaway ant. It crawled up the eraser. Miss Mackle popped the ant into the opening of the ant house and then put the roof back on. "2 ants are missing," she said. Her hair was in her eyes and one of her high heels was off. "They're going to get us!" Sydney shouted. There's a picture of them putting the ants in their house. "Sydney," Miss Mackle said with her teeth clenched, "we must remain calm." Harry stood in front of the teacher. "As your ant monitor, I will find the missing ants." And then he gave her a salute. "Just don't touch the ants," Miss Mackle insisted. Harry took out his lunchbox. He unwrapped his sandwich and scraped some peanut butter onto his finger. Then he put his finger under the science table and waited. Miss Mackle put her shoe back on and pushed her hair out of her face. "I think everyone should return to their desks now." "I found them!" Harry shouted from under the table. Everyone bent down and looked, including Miss Mackle. There were the 2 runaway ants on Harry's finger. Miss Mackle grabbed her pencil and quickly scraped them off and dropped them into the opening of the ant city. Harry flashed a big smile. "I told you I'd find them." But Miss Mackle frowned. "I told you not to touch the ants. Look at your finger." Looks like you got bit. Everyone did. There were 2 red marks. "He got bit!" Mary exclaimed. "I think you should go to the nurse," Miss Mackle said. "And when you come back, you'll see another name on the monitor chart next to Ant Monitor." Harry put his head down as he walked to the nurse's office. That's all for today. In the comments below, you can get some extra credit if you answer this question. Why is Miss Mackle replacing Harry's name on the Ant Monitor chart? Have a good day.